the worst day on a movie set is still better than the best day in the real world. And that's bullshit. Like,
I just got on the train and I never got off until the train crashed, basically.
So you win an Academy Award, and what did you do straight after that?
You know, quit, I guess.
Right.
It's so nice to be here talking to you.
Nice to talk to you too.
My children are very jealous, both of them. My son looks up to you. My daughter is in love with you, like every...
That is so lovely.
Yeah, and I probably will be too by the end of this
Well, that's the
conversation.
thing. You always, every single person ever says, "Oh, my mum loves you," or "My daughter loves you," or "My girlfriend loves you." Or it's never, "I love
Jacob,
you."
I love
Jacob,
you.
I love you.
I'm in love with you.
It's always
okay.
a degree of separation.
It's
on
true.
it.
I get that a lot now, like, "Oh, my mom."
Yeah,
I'm
and it's like, well,
"Oh,
did
great."
you enjoy it? You know?
Yeah, it's true.
Well, thank you for that. That's very nice.
They actually introduced me to you. My first entree to you and your incredible talent was in Euphoria, of course.
Thank you.
It's really, like, I was just blown away when I saw you, and you're so talented.
Thank you for saying so.
You really are.
Was it alarming as a parent? Parents always say it's like, but
You
I've never
know-
been able to see, because it seems so extreme to me when I
Me
watch
too.
the show that I don't know how it's relatable.
I wasn't alarmed.
Yeah.
My kids are, they sort of weren't going down those paths.
Right.
So, but I think there were things that they felt were right, like were depicted really accurately.
Yeah.
You know, not the extremes, but I think in the relational stuff.
idea,
and,
yeah.
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 And the
that's so
social
cool.
media stuff, and
Yeah, that's an alarming thing.
yeah. And there's going to be another one, right?
There's another one. I finished filming just recently, and
Oh,
it's a
good.
completely different thing.
Is your character nicer?
I actually think so.
Oh, good.
I really do think so. Whether it works or not, I don't know. Like, there's a chance that whatever we've done is just not good. Well, what I've done is not good. I'm not
I
sure.
doubt that.
I'm not sure.
I doubt
It was
that.
such a sort of truncated experience, but it's cool.
Cool.
It's cool.
Amazing.
Yeah. Oh, that's very, very exciting. So, Marty Supreme,
Yes.
very good movie.
Thank you. I'm not available.
Oh yeah, what you got going on?
Actually, I have a big promotional event to attend to for my husband.
Oh, okay. What's he promoting?
Pens?
How does that process work for you? Because I would love to work with Josh. It comes across your desk and you know his films, so you're familiar with Uncut Gems and that, and you want to work with him. Like, why that movie?
Why that one?
Yeah.
I mean, if I'm completely honest, you know, I had been kind of not involved in the world of cinema I'd been taking kind of a break. Like, I wasn't that up on who were the great new people. And my brother's a filmmaker, and when I told him that this guy, Josh Safdie, wanted to meet me, my brother was like, "You're doing that movie, like
Yeah.
whatever it is, you're doing it." And I was like, "Who is this guy?" And then I watched Uncut Gems, and I was like, wow, I just thought it's so bold. Like, he has such a specific style as a filmmaker.
Yeah.
And then I met with him, and he's just awesome, and
Yeah.
like creating worlds in his head, and just the kind of artist that's like exciting. I thought, okay, you know, it's been a minute,
Yeah.
but
Timothy is incredible in this movie.
Yeah,
like,
he's really-
genuinely unbelievable. And there's like the final frame of him in the hospital is such a committed performance.
Yeah.
What is it? Because I guess you've worked with some of the greatest male movie stars in the history of cinema.
Yeah.
How is that experience working with someone, I guess, that is sort of the age of these guys that you worked with in the
Yeah.
90s and stuff like that? Like, the sort of, what is it like working with someone with that kind of intensity, I guess, as a performer?
It was great. You know, I also like I wasn't so familiar with his work either. So I did a little bit of a deep dive,
It's pretty good.
and he's very, very good. And in this movie, he absolutely blew me away. I just like, again, the bravery around playing somebody with no moral center.
Yeah.
You know, it's like a lot of times actors, when they're playing someone who's not likable,
Yeah.
you can see them kind of like
Yeah, not
couching it a
wanting
bit,
to-
you know,
yeah.
like not wanting
No,
to
he
be.
just drives through it.
Yeah, he's a very committed, you said. That's really the right word. Like, it's always inspiring to work with anybody who takes it that seriously and who loves it that much.
Yeah.
And, you know, because then I'm like, oh yeah, I used to really love it like this.
It's
like
a
this
reminder
too.
thing
Yeah.
that it can be important, and it does have value. That's how I feel when I watch it. When I watch his work, he makes me feel good about the state of everything.
Yeah.
Because it makes you feel like you're not just in an echo chamber. Like there is something happening. There's a conversation happening in movies, and people do still care. And because I think as long as people care about them, and if people keep putting care in, each generation by generation, you can kind of keep them alive.
Yeah.
My great
Absolutely.
fear is that that movies lose their currency or something, and we don't have that form of storytelling anymore.
Well, I think it's, you know, it's changed quite a bit, and
Yeah.
you know, like the business models have changed, and the way it's all commercialized seems.
Wild. And
It's
does that
changed.
feel specifically different to like the 90s?
Yes, it feels very different.
Because I feel like we grew up looking at your generation of actors and all those movies and devoured them, and it was like that was the dream.
Yeah.
That was the movies that like we wanted to make, and then I feel like we all kind of finally got the audition, got the thing, and we've like stepped out into Hollywood, and it's like
Where do they all go?
this is not at all what it felt like watching. So you can feel a definite
Yes,
sort
although
of
I
shift.
have to say this year, like this year I was like, hey, what's going on? There are a
Yeah,
lot
there's
of
a lot of good movies.
really good movies. It feels like the first time in a while that it's kind of going back to,
Yeah.
and I think that happens, you know, in the face of like hyper commercialization, that you start to have real artists coming
little
through, like
renaissances
punching
and new
through,
waves,
like,
yeah.
and I feel like that's what's happening this year, which is
I
pretty cool.
agree with you.
Yeah.
That makes me glad. Have you always approached movies that way? In that if the filmmaker isn't, because you've worked with, like your list is, I mean you have what, Paul Thomas Anderson, Alfonso Cuarón, Steven Spielberg, David Fincher, who did Ripley?
Anthony Minghella,
Minghella, like
Wes Anderson.
Wes Anderson.
Yeah.
No one has that list. That's like,
Oh my God.
is it a conscious thing, or is it something that happens naturally? Is it something that you seek out? Because I don't really know what your relationship is to movies, because you grew up around them.
Yeah, yeah.
Sort of very much around them. How do you end up in a spot where not only are you making movies, because you can get in the industry and just make movies,
Right.
but you've worked with every single person in the sort of recent history of cinema who has had something specific to say, sort of beyond the movie
Right.
business, you know, in
That's
an
such a
artistic
cool
way.
way of putting it. I mean, I think I got really lucky. Like, Paul Thomas Anderson had never made a movie.
Yeah,
You
so
know,
what's
when-
his Hard Eight is his first.
First film.
How does that? The film geek in me. How do you end up there? Because I don't know the timeline of all
Yeah,
these movies.
I
I've
mean-
just seen all your movies as like, I've seen them 10 years after they were made, or the year
Right.
that, you know, they're all over the place for me.
Right. So I must have been probably like 21 or 22.
Right.
I think he saw me in the first kind of breakout part that I had, which was a movie called Flesh and Bone, which was not a successful movie, but I had this great role in it, and I was, you know, young, and he saw me, and he just kind of like, we became friends, and I don't know, there was just something about him that was so interesting, and like he was so passionate, and also it wasn't like a lot of other people were asking me to be in movies at the
Right,
time.
right.
So it just kind of worked out, and he ended up raising the money after some fits and starts, and then we all went to Reno and
Yeah,
made this movie, and it was like John C. Reilly
it's an
and
amazing movie.
all these really cool people. And I think I was in a lot of, like Alfonso Cuarón, that was his first American movie. I was in Fincher's first movie.
Jeez.
Yeah, there were like a lot of firsts or kind of early in careers. And like Wes, for example, I was almost in Rushmore and it didn't work out for some reason.
Wow.
And I was very excited to be in Tenenbaums with that amazing cast, and I feel
That
like
character that you played is like stamped forever.
she's pretty cool.
She's
yeah.
unbelievably cool.
She's
She
really-
is the cool. Like she defined a certain genre of like cool girl. You know,
Disaffected, smoking.
Smoking in the bathtub, you know, writing a play. It's amazing.
Thank you.
So just a natural sort of.
Yeah, and then I also, you know, made a bunch of weird choices too, and made some not so good movies, you know.
How does that come about? Just the nature of. Do you feel like you've had a specific thing that you've wanted to, how did you start making movies? Because you say Flesh and Bone, is that your...
My first movie was actually, I had one line in Hook, a Steven Spielberg movie.
Yeah, right.
So that was my first one. But
I love that movie.
It's cute.
It's so cute.
But Flesh and
sad.
Bone was my first like real part.
Yeah.
And I played somebody very, very different to myself. Like she was a real grifter in Texas and a thief and kind of this amoral chick. And when that came out, you know, it was like a lot of sort of good reviews and stuff. And it started to build, and then I didn't work, and I was like, I thought it was going to happen. Is this not going to happen?
I know the feeling, yeah.
What about you? What was your first?
I'd sort of studied theatre for a while, and then I went to drama school, and then I was auditioning for things in America while I was in drama school after class. And then I booked this movie in Australia called Swinging Safari, and it's about the 70s in Australia. And it's like Guy Pearce and who else is in that? Ashley Kate, just a bunch of Australian legends. And then I was auditioning for things, and I auditioned for like 100 and something times, just all self-tapes, because this is right when self-tapes were starting.
Right.
And then I booked this Netflix film called The Kissing Booth when I was 18, I think.
Oh, wow.
And then I went and shot that movie, and then came to America, and then had the same sort of thing. I thought that because I had made a movie and I wore a leather jacket and I was in this thing that I really thought I was about to do something. And then I got to Los Angeles and kind of got, you know,
yeah. It can be
smacked in the
sobering.
face. Yeah, it was like, 2 years after that,
right.
which is not a long time
No.
in the scheme of things, but for me it was like, nails on a chalkboard.
I had the same kind of thing. I just thought, oh my gosh, I guess this is maybe not gonna.
Yeah, this is not gonna be, and you had an opportunity.
Yeah.
And it didn't do what you thought it would do,
Right.
And then it was just auditioning and going through things, and then I got Euphoria. And then from there, it's kind of been just a snowball.
Yeah, understandably.
Of each year, too, every time I think, oh, I've got it now, I understand, I know what's happening, something else will happen that gives me a whole new experience of the
And how did
whole thing.
who gave you the idea that, a movie career in Hollywood was possible? You said, you had quite a normal upbringing and...
Yeah, I was quite loud. I was very noisy, which is every actor's thing is like, they didn't know what to do with me. So they put me, which I hate, but it is true, like I was obnoxious. And there was a teacher at school, Mrs. McMahon, decided to put me in this play to play Cat in the Hat in Seussical the musical. And I just,
You nailed it.
Yeah, as soon as I did it, I was singing and dancing. I had the big hat on, and I knew that was a thing that I wanted to do. And then I watched. I've said this a million times on this sort of press tour, but I saw Heath Ledger, and I think in The Dark Knight, and I knew him from Knight's Tale and all these things that I'd grown up watching. And I think that when I was about 12, I realised he was from Australia.
Oh.
And then the cogs started turning that it was a thing that you could do, and it was something that like I could do that, and then from that point it became an obsession. Just movies have been every bit of my life from then to now.
Wow.
I get very, very excited by the idea of them, and I had very supportive parents as well.
That's awesome.
Which is like such a luxury, in that when I said it, they said, sure,
That's
go
so
for
great.
it.
So are you kind of like in a pinch me moment right now with this film? Because you are so fantastic in Frankenstein, and I was so impressed by your physicality. It was almost like watching a ballet dancer or something like that, how you emerged into this creature, and just the physicality was like really beautiful, and the dynamic between this incredible tenderness and this violence, which you like seem to have, such facility with, like the depths of each direction. I was really impressed.
Thank you. My sister is a ballet dancer. She was my whole life. So she danced from when she was 2 till about 26. She danced in Germany. So I've grown up around that kind of movement, and it definitely was like a reference point for sort of how to use.
I wondered.
Use your body. I've always been sort of enamored by by ballet. But thank you for saying so. It is a pinch me moment, because the dream that I had really when I was laying in my bed, and I had these little, like a lot of people do, those little glow in the dark stars on my roof, and I would lay there and stare at them. And part of that dream was literally working with Guillermo del Toro.
Was it really?
Because I'd seen Pan's Labyrinth when I was maybe 13 or 14 or something, and there was the Pale Man was in that, who is this creep, and I was into monsters and all these sorts of things, and I remember seeing that film and keeping it with me somewhere, like the idea of that movie. So then now to be on a plane with him, and to even to watch the film and see his name come up and then sort of pop up on the screen as the creature it's absolutely surreal. It's an impossible thing to...
You manifested it.
In a way, but in a very sort of subconscious, sort of indirect kind of way.
Like, how did it come about? Did you just get the call that...
Yeah, I was shooting Priscilla, this movie where I play Elvis Presley.
Oh yeah,
with Sofia Coppola.
Beautiful.
Yeah, so she's amazing.
She's incredible.
And the hair and makeup team from that were going to make Frankenstein after we were done. And while I was playing Elvis, I had this kind of unnatural sort of pluck and confidence. I remember I said to her, I'm supposed to be in that movie. And she was like, no, you're not. And she's like, did you audition for it? And I was like, no, I'm meant to be in it though. And she goes, well, we have an actor, so you're not meant to be in it. And I kind of laughed. It was just a passing joke. And then a year later, the actor dropped out, and the hair person went to Guillermo and said, I don't know if you know who this is, but maybe you should think about it. He has a great sort of physicality or something for it. And at the same time, Ted Sarandos at Netflix emailed a link to this other film I'd made called Saltburn. And so Guillermo had this sort of influx of information about me.
A triangulation of Jacob Elordi.
Which was strange, because I'd never said anything like that before. And then I got an email to read the script, and then the next morning we FaceTimed.
Were you so excited?
I was beyond excited, I was getting to a point too where I wasn't really very excited. Like work was becoming work in a way, and nothing was really moving anything, and I was starting to face that, like maybe I'll just keep working or take a break, or I was sort of losing passion or something a little bit. And as soon as I read the screenplay, it was I knew how I wanted to say that line. I had a picture of how he would move in my head. It was just sort of an immediate kind of and I turned all the lights off in my house and lit everything with candles when I read the script, because I just had a feeling that I needed to do something to get a spark
Stir
back.
it.
Yeah, so I'm not just reading screenplays on my laptop because they've been sent in, and they need to know by the end of the day, and you're like kind of just going through it and not really reacting to what's in front of you. So I really made a meal out of it, and then I had this like 6-day excruciating wait to find out if I was like viable to be.
What was he ruminating on?
It was something to do with the studio or something that I had no idea. And in my head, I created every single reason why I had ruined my life, and that I wouldn't be in this movie, and how I had messed up, and all these things. And then eventually, I got the phone call that I had to go.
So exciting.
Yeah, put all the.
It's
stuff
interesting
on.
what you were saying about, like, when you just touched on, you had been kind of working as work, and you had to take a minute to get the spark back, because I always think that's so interesting about being an artist, that if you're lucky enough to start to make a living at your art, like what we do out of love and dream and passion, like that it can become work,
Yeah, and there is something about that too. You are so lucky that somebody's paying the rent on the building for you to go in and do your silly little song and dance in there. So the fact that I was sitting there kind of laboring over it, like it was that's where I knew something was wrong with whatever was
were
happening.
out of
Because
alignment.
the thing is, you should be able to find joy in it in any sort of scenario, whether the script is incredible or not incredible. But it does start to become
I don't know.
it does start to become a job, and then it's because I used to be one of those people that was like the worst day on a movie set is still better than the best day in the real world. And that's bullshit. Like, that's a fucking lie. Like, it is not true.
No.
The best day in the real world absolutely trumps and devours, the worst day. Because the worst day on a film set is like,
It's really demoralizing.
really, and you can't quite figure out why, because you've still got your latte and everything is
I
there,
know,
and you've been
but you
driven.
know it's not working.
But there's something that's
You've
just
got egg on your face.
Yeah, and there is
Yeah.
that moment. I was standing there and I was saying words in something that I had somehow ended up in, and I felt like my bones were like on fire. Like I was like, I love you, or something like that. And I was like, oh, shut. I was looking at myself from the outside on these sets, like, go home. Like you should have tomatoes thrown at you. Like you're an embarrassment,
Those moments are so excruciating.
So yeah, so it was nice to have something come in that sort of reignited that feeling that the worst day could be the best day.
Yeah.
Did you feel how long is the break that you?
It's like 7 years.
7 years. And is that a conscious thing from a similar kind of feeling, or is it just something that life you're focused on something else, or is it something I have to get away from this, or?
Yeah, I think it was a combination of things. I think, when I was doing it in my 20s, like I never took a break, and I kind of burned myself out a little bit. And so when I had my daughter, I was like, I'm just going to take a minute. And luckily I could afford to take a break. And then I had my son, and then I was like, I think I want to approach this in a different way and have a little bit more of a life. I think I felt, a lot of loneliness when I was doing it in my 20s. I didn't know myself really well yet, and I was traveling all the time. And so I just kind of wanted to take a break, and then I started to do kind of more supporting parts in things like the Iron Man movies. And I felt like there was a part of myself that I kind of needed to grow up and understand really who I was. And I got a lot of those answers through my family. And then I started a business, and then it became really hard to contemplate, doing something. And I also, for me, didn't want to go on location while my kids were still home.
Yeah.
And so this kind of came about in the most incredible way, because our boys, I have a son and a stepson who were the same age, and they were going off. And I was left with this feeling of shock and disbelief, these boys are going to go, and who am I,
Yeah.
And it was just then that I met Josh and became familiar with his work, and he reminded me of some of those people you mentioned, in the early days of their career. And I was like, I think this is going to be really worthwhile. It might work or not, because it's so ambitious and so original.
It's unbelievable, yeah.
I'm not agreeing to anything.
All right, we don't have to agree to anything. I'm gonna do it anyway. Okay, 1, 2, 3.
I thought, this is the kind of thing I like to do. I want to take a risk. And it was going to shoot in New York, so I could be near all the kids. And so I said yes.
It's an amazing movie for that, because it is so niche and quite peculiar. The performances are peculiar, the story is peculiar, but it's totally universal.
Yeah.
You go with each character. When he came to you with the movie, was it as it was? It was just fully.
It was long.
Yeah.
It was 160 pages or something like that. Yeah, it was a long.
Oh my goodness.
And I was like, there's no way they're going to be able to.
Did you shoot 160 pages?
I mean, I feel like no, because I think we started just not making days, and then things would sort of fall away. But I think it was a lot of pages that were shot.
And on a film like that, because their films are long lenses, set up in the street, steal a shot. Yeah. Get this if you can, don't need the permit. There's something Herzog-y about it. Was that the case on this movie, or was it, because this is obviously so much more, because Uncut Gems is its own thing, and Heaven Knows What, and all these films are there, and Good Time, but they're a lot messier, whereas this, in a good way, in the way that they are shot on the street, whereas this felt a lot more like a
bigger
big movie.
This movie felt to me like the movies that we used to make in the 90s.
Because it reminds me of your films from the 90s in a way. Just the size and the scale of the shots and the depth of the performance. Everyone is great in that movie. Yeah. Everyone is perfect in your movie. And you have this one moment, which I told you before, but when you step out on the stage and are facing away from the audience, and then the light comes up and you say that first line and the audience erupts, I just started weeping. I just started crying, but the look on your face was so sincere and so beautiful and sad. At the same time, it was a culmination of this whole person's life was in the cheer of that audience, and you absolutely just like, it was flawless.
Thank you so much.
And also, are you doing, because I wasn't sure, because I have, your voice in my head is a combination of all the films that you've made, and now I'm hearing you speak for real. Was there like a old movie star transatlantic thing on her? How does that come about, the voice of her and stuff like that?
I was just watching, you know, like Hitchcock movies and movies from the time, like movies in the 50s, and people really did speak with that kind of transatlantic thing. So I brought that in a little bit.
No, it's great. It's absolutely.
And yours is English in the movie.
English, and the guy that teaches the creature to speak, David Bradley, he's from Yorkshire, so he's Northern England. And then Oscar did this sort of heightened RP accent. So the creature's somewhere in
the middle.
And then maybe like whatever memory he has from a different body part, maybe the way that person sounds or something. The thing with that thing with the creature is it seems specific, but he is so vague because he's created from so many different things. So I had so many places to go and look, and there was also a lot of practical stuff too, like standing in the mirror and going like, no, like, oh, it's something that's like, oh no, you can't walk like that. You got to pull that back. Friend.
I was going to ask you about that, because I think whenever I see a performance that has like those aspects of bravery, I think like, how do they do that? Like, do you in the mirror, or like do you?
The mirror was a massive part, because I pretty much made myself alone for the 6 months of shooting, because he's kind of the loneliest thing in the whole world.
He is. It's so sad.
Yeah, it is really. And reading him and playing him, I was like, oh, you poor thing. You know, you're so alone. So I kind of isolated myself, and I spent just so much time. At the house I had in Toronto had mirrors everywhere, and I would just walk around and mutter to myself over there, and then try something over here. Or I'd call my sister and be like, do you like this or do you like this? Like, you know, just there was something very practical and deliberate, but then also something that was about exploring and just trying. But I listened to this podcast recently with Joaquin Phoenix, and he said, James Gray, you also worked with him. Two Lovers. See, you have a crazy filmography. It's unbelievable. But there was something in The Master, and it was a scene where I was like, oh my God, that's impossible performance. How did you do that? And then in this podcast, he said he just held his breath. Like, he really just held his breath until he couldn't. And I'm like, oh, of course, that's exactly what is happening in that frame. You can't. So there's a lot of stuff like that as well. Just get your body to the extreme point physically, and then he'll say action, and then sort of something happens as you unfold. So like practical and spiritual. There was this weird combination of the two.
Often do that, sort of like take the fundamental elements of a character and have that be the kind of atmosphere in your real life?
To a degree, but I'm also I can't go so far down that path that like I can still acknowledge that there's lights there and cameras. So if I went fully into the thing of like, I am living in this thing, it's just bullshit, because you're not. You got an SUV and you went to the thing. But there's little things like the voice is really hard to do if I'm like talking in the voice and then I go, can I just have a latte? So stuff like that I cut out. Like things that I would, like foods that I liked, I would get rid of. Like just little habits that I have as myself, I would get rid of them, so I felt kind of foreign in my own environment, I suppose.
Wow, that's very committed.
But nothing. Like I'll do anything to have like a small departure from the everyday as well. Like I've always loved, and again, this is such a dicky actor thing, but I like the idea of being able to fully just be like, not dealing with that.
Right.
I got to make a movie. Not dealing with that.
It's like denial as a profession.
Making a movie is a great excuse to
Yeah.
get, because you can't argue with it. It's like, oh well, I guess I've got to go to Istanbul now for this many weeks. Sorry.
Right,
I can't,
right.
You know.
Right.
So maybe I don't.
But do you feel like there's stuff you want to escape from in your real life, or is it more just?
No, I think there's some kind of an indulgent thing. I love indulging in the other life or something like that. It's not necessarily like anything to do with running,
Right.
as opposed to enjoying the holiday or something like that.
Right.
I'm not sure. I'm kind of reevaluating the whole thing
Yeah.
now as well after this movie. And so, do you think? Did you enjoy it the same way? Coming back after the break, did it feel how you thought it would feel?
I enjoyed it so much more.
Right.
Like I felt it was like a fresh start in a way,
Yeah.
you know, it felt like, I don't know, I felt like I just came to it with all this life lived, like tucked away into my body, and with more, you know, I think that always makes you more layered as a person. There's been through so much stuff, and
Yeah.
before I just got on the train and I never got off until the train crashed, basically.
Right.
And I feel like I sort of fell out of love with it, you know, because I wasn't even sort of contemplating, do I love this? Like, you know, I was just like going.
It's automatic.
And I had taken such a long break that I was really able to feel everything and just perceive.
Actually the
Yeah.
information that's coming. I wonder why that is, that the train has to derail
I don't know.
for you to.
I
I'm not
think
even
because-
asking, I genuinely, why is it that it has
I
to,
know.
in this thing, it's just, and you can't just go, I'm going to
I know,
gonna
because I
just get
think we
off now.
feel like as actors, we're so lucky to be in a position where we're able to do it and get paid for it. And it doesn't, I mean, I can just speak for myself. I never thought like, hey, like maybe you should take a break or just say no to this one thing or slow down. It was like this, I don't know, breathless ferociousness around
Yeah.
like, what if I don't get another job, and you know,
Yeah.
as opposed to being more strategic and like
Yeah.
and taking some
But it's hard to
time.
be strategic when it's your first time experiencing something as well. All these
Exactly.
experiences are brand new things, so you can't have a plan for how you're supposed to do them.
Totally.
Did you? How old were you when you started acting? Like the first time, and what was like because you grew up in it or around it or
Yeah.
adjacent. What was the like calling of it? Was it did you get bitten by that bug that you knew you had to do this thing, or was it a sort of a natural progress, and was it how you thought it would be, your
Yeah.
like entrance into it? Does it make sense?
Absolutely. So I always wanted to do it because my mom is an incredible actor, and on the stage she's like a legend. So
Yeah.
I grew up watching her rehearse and do plays my whole life, and I just wanted to do what she did. Like she was so powerful on stage and so mesmerizing, and so I always wanted to act. My parents were kind of discouraging of it, you know. They thought I should try to pursue something a bit more, I don't know, maybe steady.
Sure.
And like after school one day in high school in New York City, like I was smoking cigarettes in the coffee shop, and a casting director came up to me and didn't know who my parents were or anything. She was like, do you want to audition for a movie? And, you know, so like
Yeah.
I got a call back to that. And then, you know, then I used to do plays at the Williamstown Theater Festival every summer, and I was an apprentice, and someone saw me, and it was just sort of like little bits, you know, and I was sort of like, and my parents were like, are you going to go to college? Are you going to do this? Like, what's happening? And
Do you think they knew
I think
that you were going to do it?
I
and
think
it was
they
just
knew.
like keep it at bay for as long as you could.
I
sort
think
of
so.
thing. That's
But
so
my first
interesting.
thing ever, I think, was when I was in Hook. I was probably 17.
No way.
Yeah,
Unbelievable.
but it was just one line.
Yeah, but you're in the Spielberg movie.
I know,
It still gets added to the list of to the rings.
It still counts?
It still counts. When I read Saltburn, my thought on it was, I was like, I have to be like Jude Law in this movie because of Ripley. But then my association to it, I was like, oh, these aren't similar at all. I shouldn't use that as a reference.
So-
I think before making the film, I thought it was it was going to be like a Townsend Mr. Ripley sort of structure, and then as I went to make the film, I think I realized it wasn't.
And it's the same director that is doing Wuthering Heights?
She's doing this movie. We did this movie, Wuthering Heights, after that.
I'm very excited for this movie.
I think you'll like it.
I'm gonna.
I saw it last week.
How is it?
It's really good.
Oh.
I think she's an amazing filmmaker, and Margot is so good.
Oh wow!
In the,
and
like,
she's Australian too, right?
Yeah, we're literally from like 20 minutes from.
Oh, that's great.
From
Is that nice? Does it feel sort of like a homecoming?
There was this shorthand that we got to have based on just childhood experience, like certain smells and sounds and a certain kind of a brand of cracker that you guys don't have, or a biscuit. Just those things made it all so sort of so much easier. But it's a cool movie. I hope. We'll see.
I'm excited.
We'll see what happens with it.
The internet is abuzz about Wuthering Heights.
So
they should
someone
be.
will like pull their phone up, and I'm like, get that away from me. When was the last time you were on stage?
The last time I was on stage was too long ago. It was when I did Proof in London.
Oh, really? And
which
that
was
when?
2002.
Do you think, this is such a journalist question, do you think you'll ever make it back?
I would love to, actually. I
Yeah.
promised my mother I would do a play at some point.
I would love to watch you on stage.
Thank you.
Especially after that frame in the movie. I feel like it would be there'd be a similar reception.
Hopefully my reviews wouldn't be as bad as my character.
Oh, that's crippling when it cuts to you crying in that room.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I remember putting I was sitting there, I went, oh no.
I know.
Oh no,
Oh,
no.
And Josh and Ronnie, the writers, actually wrote out the entire review. And it's so brutal. It's so brutal. I was like, yeah, this would make me sob.
Yeah. Oh, cry. I guess that's what you put yourself up for if you go back.
That's the risk.
Especially if it's like a comeback or something as well, which is a crazy.
Yeah.
I have one more question.
Okay.
When you win an Academy Award for Shakespeare in Love, did that have any bearing before you had gotten into that position, and did it change anything in terms of how you view movies or the way that you do the work, sort of? Because that moment there's a thing of like, oh, it means nothing, it's all just blah, 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 blah. But there is a thing where it does mean a great deal, and even just in a business sense, as an actor, there is something that happens and changes just in people's perception of you and your work, and I imagine pressure. Like, did it feel like something had happened, or did it feel like nothing?
Oh my God, it felt like something immense had happened.
Yeah.
And there was this massive energetic shift. It was very, very overwhelming. I mean, I was young. I was only 26.
So crazy.
Of course, it's like the ultimate prize, right? It's like and so there was this incredible sense of like pride, but also overwhelm, and then like, do I deserve this?
Little shame,
it was like, it was, and I was so young that I feel like I didn't have the tools yet to sort of metabolize it. So it was pretty overwhelming, and I think it also just kind of gave me pause, like, wait, what does this mean? And like, how am I supposed to do something else?
What do you do after that?
What do you do after?
And what did you do straight after that?
Quit, I guess.
Right. Good. I think that's the answer.
Pretty much, like a few years later.
And then you take that break after that.
Yeah, I just needed, I did a big life change. I moved to England for at least a decade, and
it is interesting that because there's such an emphasis on taking a break and coming back from something, but there's no rule book that says you need to make 3 movies every year and keep delivering a thing. It is, at the end of the day, an art or a craft, and some painters only put out, 3 paintings every 20 years, or a musician might put out 1 album every, like a real sort of conceptual musician might put out 1 album every 15 years or something like that. But there is this strange sort of commercial expectation that an actor has, you're only as good as your last movie, or that you do have to keep feeding this thing. But
and it's not true,
not at all.
No, and I think that's the thing. Like, if I could go back and talk to myself at that age, I would just say, just take your time, you know, just really get in touch with who you are to the greatest extent possible and make decisions from that place. Like, you know, I would just say slow down and work with great people, and, you know, don't beat yourself up so much along the way. And
Yeah, because it can feel like a decision, like yes or no to a movie is like saying yes or no to being alive. Like,
Yeah.
do I want to live or do I want to die?
Yeah.
That's what the stakes can feel
Yeah.
like sometimes, and it's just so clearly not the case, because if you step outside of Los Angeles or New York for like 20 minutes, you realize it's such a concentrated
bubble.
idea that this stuff is important, and that it
Yes.
has like some kind of major bearing on the world.
Totally,
You know?
totally. Jacob, this was a pleasure.
Thank you. It was my pleasure.
It was great to get to sit with you. And
Yeah, here in this setting.
Yeah.